fantastic performance. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of Uncommentary, where we share our common and uncommon thoughts with you. With me, as usual, is my friend Narayanan, and Narayanan is very happy today. Clinical performance by the Indian bowling side. Akshar Patel getting 5 wickets, Ravichandra Ashwin and Kuldeep Yadav both chipping in. What do you think was the difference today as compared to our bowling in the first test match?
If you notice, since ball one, since we batted first and we finished the day strong at 300 for 6, our confidence was up. Even though what the pitch started behaving at the end, last session on day one and moving forward until today, England were always playing catch up. They really were not in the game. And in spite of their first innings total and our second innings performance, which included the Ashwin 100 as well as his 5 in the first innings, I don't think England were anywhere close to even drawing the game. They were only playing catch up, and that is what demarcated our performance in the first test. Because in the first test, we were exactly in what England's position in the second. So it's just an exact reversal of the first.
What I felt was England had sufficient time and a huge total of 480 to make. Go for the attack. You know, eventually, Indian spinners will get you. So go down fighting. Because the more you try to defend, you're not going to end up surviving 2 days without losing wickets, right? So they would have rather done that. It came too little too late in the form of Moeen Ali with his blitzering attack.
See, if you notice, England's approach in the second test was mid of a defensive. They went into they first of all they had a very strong batting lineup. They tinkered with their squad, and also they went in the back foot way too early when the spinners came on, assuming that they will have more time to play the shots. That was the biggest mistake. Second, premeditated shots. They tried to sweep out every spinner out of the attack, which they tried from the first test, which didn't work. So once these two strategies kind of failed, they were clueless as to what to do going forward. And when you have this kind of a dilemma, it's just spinners are going to be on top of your head, and that's exactly what Ashwin and Akshar capitalized on. And this spot of two minds, whether to go front or go back, what type of shot to play for the desired ball. This is just what Indian bowlers capitalize on. And England lost pretty much all their wicket spaces there.
So that in turn says that Indian bowling was too good.
Yeah. They really played with the length, the speed variations, and that foxed the batsman up. And the Stokes bowled by Ashwin in the first was, oh man, it's a classy ball,
Absolutely. He'll savor that wicket for long. Not just that wicket, he'll savor this test match, Ravichandra Ashwin. What a performance for this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. The best all-rounder in world cricket today?
No, I wouldn't say so, but yeah, still right at the top with others like Ravindra Jadeja, Ben Stokes himself.
On any player's day, everyone seems to be the best one. But you have to give credit to what Ashwin has achieved in this test. He now becomes the second player after Sir Ian Botham to score 100 and pick up 5 wickets in the same test match. He's basically gone past Jack Callis of South Africa and Mushtaq Mohammed of Pakistan. And that list in itself is a very awesome list to be part of. So it just shows how special a player he is. Yeah, how special a player he is.
Totally. Yeah. And Ravichandra Ashwin takes his game really seriously, not just his bowling. He enjoys batting and he puts in that effort. When India was here in Melbourne, just outside of MCG, there's a separate set of nets that they have provided for people, who are either batting down the order or somebody who is, not picked in the side. So what they would do is, they would practice while the match is going on. They'll practice some on the outside. So while the team was practicing inside the stadium, Ashwin was batting outside. Just he took it really seriously, and I enjoyed watching him. And yeah, so that shows when he performs. Yeah.
I agree to this point actually because when I went to the Chepauk on Sunday, it was just 15-20 minutes after tea when the first few people from the support staff and the non-playing 11 started to emerge from the dressing room to have a round
Mm-hmm.
of hit in the nets.
Now, this brings to our next section where we ask your questions to our panel. My first question for you, Narayanan, is where do England go from here? And where does India go from here?
Uh, it's a pink ball test match. England has played couple of pink ball test matches, so has India. The only advantage is that India has played one of the pink ball test matches at home in Kolkata against Bangladesh, which was the maiden pink ball test. But yeah, pink ball test in general is not something that India is kind of used to. Players are still not comfortable playing in the dusk dinner break time of phase where the ball starts to swing more, and that is a phase where generally teams lose a lot of wickets. So it'll be interesting to see. You could see Jimmy Anderson and Chris Wokes practicing in the ground after days of play with the pink ball, even on Sunday, yesterday, even maybe
Mm,
today. Uh, and you could see Bumrah is also having the ping ball in his hand in the dressing room. So
mm,
clearly, teams are working towards the next test match, and it's all square, 1-1 leading into the final two, right? So I don't think any team would want a drawn series because that would mean Australia's going through to the World Test Championship final.
yeah.
And yeah, I think even a 2-1 draw win for India would ensure they go through, but definitely not a 2-all or a loss, which is what
Yeah.
England would be targeting. But the pink ball test is a very crucial test considering where the test series presently stand at. And moving forward, you definitely can see Jimmy Anderson and Chris Wokes coming in basis their rotational policy and giving a rest.
Yep.
But questions are raised on England as to why they rested some of the key players, especially after one test. Rotation policy can be to some extent, but one test is not a criteria to give some player a rest because they just played two test matches in Sri Lanka. That's not a very lengthy or a lengthy tour where players need rest. But yeah, whatever happens, I think England is going to come back hard, and India is very well aware that they're going to come back hard, and India is up for it as well.
Right. Okay. And I'm glad that you brought up the point of rotation policy, and I'll reiterate what I discussed a couple of days ago, that the rotation policy is more of beneficial for the players during the COVID times because this gives them a healthy relief to from the situation that they go through. Traveling through the bubble is not very easy for them as sportsmen. And Jofra Archer also specified this in one of his interviews. So that was one thing that England is very aware about, and they don't want to stress their players a lot because of the COVID situation.
If England
Yeah.
is doing the rotational policy, irrespective of what the series stands or with whom you're playing, then you clearly can see England is not serious enough about the World Test Championships because this series is one of the most important for them. And you need your best 11 to go out and win the series rather than trying to preserve players for the sake of rotational and being away from home. But this, if England don't take the series seriously, which seems what others are talking about. But then that's not the right sign for England to look at.
I would beg to differ on that because just like India, England has a very strong bench. You can afford to rotate Stuart Broad and James Anderson and Jofra Archer, all three of them top performers, also Chris Brooks. So you can rotate them. This also makes sure that you don't overstress people and don't end up being injured or carry injury through one series to the other. So that way, it does prove. And also in terms of the spinners, Dom Bess, Moeen Ali, and Jack Leach, you can rotate them if you have that strong bench strength. So that is what I feel. Of course, that's what the
Yeah,
good thing
yeah.
about
I mean,
Uncommentary is.
you're pro, I'm anti. No one is right.
Yeah, true.
Everyone is right, right? That's the beauty of one commentary.
Absolutely. Okay. So from Chennai to Motera, from nobody in the ground to about 15, 20,000, and now 50,000 people allowed because 50% capacity. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, yeah,
That's what I read in some of the papers. Is that true?
yeah.
Wow. They're going to make sure they'll be making a lot of noise. Obviously, we all know which team they are backing. England is going to have a tough task in making a comeback from 1-all and from this huge defeat, and also counter the crowd.
Well, you could see how Ashwin in today's post-match presentation, he clearly acknowledged the crowd, spoke a few sentences in Tamil, and he said,
Yeah.
crowd made a big difference for how we performed. And in the first test, there was no crowd, whereas in the second test, when crowd was allowed, we won. So you could clearly see
Mm.
how the crowd acknowledged that. And yeah, he did acknowledge how special the ground is, his home ground where he learned the steps of playing the
Yeah.
game, as well as the crowd loves the local boy.
True. And the crowds will love the local boys in Motera as well. You have two of them from Gujarat, Akshay Patel and Cheteshwar Pujara.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
reckon these are two players to watch out?
Aksar, I wouldn't know whether he'll be given a game because I do not know the injury status
True.
of Jadeja.
Mm.
Because Jadeja, if he is fit, will definitely come above Aksar. So that is one.
Let's see who gets.
Yeah, yeah, and it's apparently known
Yeah.
that Shami is
Yeah.
now fit. So if Shami is fit,
Wow.
and Bumrah is definitely going to be playing. So do you go with three
Yeah.
pacers and two spinners? So whom do you rest? Do you take in Siraj or Ishad?
Yeah. I'm of the opinion, from my point of view, India's best combination in terms of spin is Ashwin and Jadeja.
Yeah,
No two thoughts about it. If
yeah,
Jadeja is fit, he's in the team. That's
yeah,
it. Because that gives you depth in the batting. You have Jadeja at 7, and number 8 is Ashwin, and you can have the three bowlers,
yeah,
Ishan Sharma, Bumrah, and Shami if you want, or
yeah,
Siraj, whosoever. So they are number 9, 10, 11. So
yeah,
that is a very strong team for you.
yeah.
And of course, we have the top order and the middle order. Talking about the top order, do you feel there will be some chops and cuts at all by any chance, or they'll retain this batting order?
They're going to retain the batting order. There's nothing to change about because nothing practically has gone wrong except the performance has remained consistent. Whether the
Yeah.
top order fails or the odd performance from the players, but the order of batting has pretty much remained consistent. Except for injuries, players do come in, but in spite of that, you never saw the batting order being chopped. So I don't see that
Yeah.
happening. So the top order pretty much remains the same. It's just the bowling which Shami will be given a chance and Jaddu being fit or not. So those are the two spots I could see changes happening for the pink ball test. And yeah, with the
Mm.
pink ball, the advantage is the matches start late. It'll start by about 12:30 p.m. Indian time and go on till about 2100 hours Indian time. So for the working class, it's an advantage where you can come back home and watch some of the match as well.
For sure, we won't be doing this post-match session. It'll have to be the next day pre-game show because it'll be like early in the morning here in Melbourne, and I'll be in my bed. Yeah. So.
If you have the passion, you should be staying awake and doing this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'll be watching. I'll be watching the match. There's no two thoughts about it. The only thing is, after the match, we'll be, collecting some points to discuss the next day on the pre-game show.
Yeah.
Okay. Last final thoughts on England. What do they do from now?
Oh, come hard at India. You can't sit back because now India's got a whiff of the blood. They're not going to like stop at it, and they know the series and the championship finals is on the line, so they're going to come back hard. They know what is at stake. They can't even afford a slip up like the first test. Any slip up means they're out of the race.
Yeah.
So India is going to play hard, irrespective of what the result is in the fourth. But the third test match, I'm sure India would like to have a 2-1 lead. And similarly, England would also like to take a 2-1 lead and knock India off the World Test Championship finals and give themselves a chance.
True.
But them going through with the 3-1, I think 3-1 they go through. Yeah, I think 3-1.
So if India.
3-1 is what they need to target to go through. So the third test for them is also as crucial as for India. So it'll be a tough prospect. It'll be an interesting match. It'll be fought out well. It'll be at Motera with 55,000 people. So it'll be a well fought out match. Both teams are going to be coming hard at each other, and it'll be interesting. It's a pink ball. It's at Motera. 55,000 crazy fans going to be packing the stadium. It will be a spectacle. Can't wait. It's a good 1 week away, man. I do not know what I'll be doing for the next 1 week.
We'll be doing a lot of recording pre-game shows, and we'll be having discussions on WhatsApp. And with that, we come to an end of yet another show. Thank you for joining us during this test match, and please share your thoughts, ask us questions, leave your comments, and if you have any feedback about anything about the show, please leave them with us, and we'll try and improve our quality. We'll try and bring more guests. Thank you very much. Enjoy. Bye.
Cheers, Dave. Have a good evening.